Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Memecoins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss the ongoing tariff wars and their effect on the market. We're talking about a new Ponzi token on Abstract. That's all easy talking about. I'm very curious about what's going on there. And we're going to maybe talk about some tokens we are targeting on a discount during this pullback. Welcome. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you for joining. If you're in the space, give us a like, give us a retweet. Help us spread our wings and fly on Twitter. I'm joined this morning by Choose Rich Nick, Easy Eats Bodega, and Kick. It's been almost a week since we've talked to you. Kicks, how you feeling? What you been up to?
Dude, feeling fucking good, man. Feeling fucking good. Life's good. Work's good. Family's good. Had a little fun with some call options on my E-Trade. Been running up my E-Trade account.
Ooh,
this last past week. So yeah, things been good, man.
Buying calls,
yeah.
That's a bold
I hit a
move.
nice one on. I hit a nice one on Apple on Friday, right at the market close. I bought an Apple call option, and then it popped Monday. Sold it, and then the stock absolutely cratered.
Yes, I was gonna say if anyone's making money on those calls, they would have had to been exiting Monday.
Yeah, the thing for me is that like I feel like I'm better from like a TA perspective at like an oversold condition that is gonna get a little bit of a rally than like buying a put. Even though puts have been massively way more profitable over the past month. If you've been on the put side, you've probably been printing. But yeah, man, I mean it super risky degen stuff like expire in a week. Call options because the premium on everything is insane right now.
Nick, you've been talking about buying some options. Are you in any options trades right now? I know you're talking about getting some puts potentially.
No, right.
What's up with that? What's the issue?
I'm not in any actually
Okay.
at the current
Yeah,
moment.
I was honestly curious.
No. After I had a moment there, where I made money, and then I had a moment where I lost money. And, after going back and forth through those two things, I said, you know what? You give it two shots and you go home. That's the way that life works, And if it didn't work out, you just quit.
Strike two, you're out.
I made money on my Fiverr short. I lost money on my,
Shopify long.
My Shopify put that I sold. That was.
You sold a put.
It was uncapped downside, basically. And so I just got out of it. I closed the position because I was like, I'm not waiting.
Listening too much to Pia, dude. Selling puts,
30-day put.
I want to check in on Pia and see how his strategy is working right now in a downward market. Because I'm curious of what that looks like with is he just accumulating more MicroStrategy, more Tesla, and more I guess GameStop now?
Well, Ray, thanks for asking. I want you to remember that I brought the same fucking energy throughout this bear market that I always have. You got to keep accumulating Bitcoin, and you keep accumulating MicroStrategy. Those things have just been working, and then adding a little bit of income via the options. Right now, my income is printing there, Ray. So thanks for asking.
It took me a second to realize you were doing a PO impression there, but I got it midway through. Yeah, interesting to see. And watching all this play out, it just feels like surreal just watching in real time as the market is nuking pretty much like on track to be as bad as COVID and the 2008 crisis, like right now with no let up in sight and only escalation in sight. So it feels like just kind of this holding pattern of down only, trying to figure out when you're pulling the trigger to catch some sort of the upside. And is it worse? How much worse does it get before it gets better, I guess, is really the question that is like permeating everything right now.
It gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah. But at some point it'll stop getting worse and it'll only get better until the next time it gets worse. That being said, we have Kicks on today for a weather report. If you want to pull that up.
Yo, is this person trying to tell me something?
Oh, yeah. How is that big buy going on Fartcoin? Let's take a look over at that, too.
I have no idea.
Butcoin's holding up well. Fartcoin, on the other hand.
Dude, meme coins have been hot, dude. Meme coins have been hot, dude. It's been a lot of fun. Meme coins decoupling. That's where all the money's at. But yeah, I'll hop into the weather for you, Coach.
Thanks.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, April 9th. Looking over at the crypto roundup majors, bled on the day with Bitcoin under 77K, ETH under 1,500, Solana trying to hold on to 3 digits, around $100. Over the past 24 hours, the U.S. announced 104% tariffs on China, and China responded by increasing tariffs on U.S. imports to 84% starting tomorrow. How high can they go? We'll find out. The China Central Bank also instructed state-owned banks to limit U.S. dollar purchases. Equity markets reacted to the elevated tariffs as the S&P 500 fell 1.6% yesterday, while NASDAQ drops 2.4% and now has lost 12.1% in the last 4 sessions. U.S. equities are down 2% in pre-market trading, but since we wrote that in the report, they are now up slightly. Finally, it wasn't all bad news as the U.S. Department of Justice axed their crypto squad, halting cases against exchanges and wallets. They will no longer be pursuing these platforms for the acts of their end users. That's it for the weather report. Back to you in the studio.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks for that. Another great weather report.
Thank you. I almost forgot to say
the same
it.
thing every single day.
I almost forgot to say it that time, Nick. Thank you for jumping in and making sure it got said. Because I was going to jump over to the pre-markets right away. Way to keep that trend going. I appreciate you enjoying that and making that.
I appreciate you, Ray.
Yeah, pre-markets. It looks like we had a little bit of a relief here. 2% as of 20 minutes ago. So we're looking at down 1.2% on the Dow. A little under 1% down on S&P. NASDAQ down 1/3%. Extreme fear is driving the U.S. market. We're at 3 on the equities fear and greed right now. It doesn't get much lower than that. So what happens when like things get worse and we're already at 0? Like, can things become negative on the fear and greed scale?
It does. It goes negative. Yeah, that's what happens.
Does it?
No.
Okay.
So
like, I mean,
seems like a good time to buy.
Big picture historically. I mean, they say buy fear, right?
No, they say you got to wait till the fear greed index gets down to 1.
1? Is that what they say?
That's what my dad always said.
Buy fear, sell greed. We are looking at
you sell at 100.
Only at 100. Only at 100 and only at 1.
That's how you time the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, there really doesn't seem like there's an end in sight. Fear and greed at 3 is wild for equities markets. I'm gonna try to find like a graph of this over time, kind of overlaid with S&P price action and seeing like what kind of entries you get at these levels. I feel like I want to start DCAing into markets right now. I feel like we're like approaching that. Easy and Nick and Kicks now. We've got 3 TA masters on. I've heard a lot from Easy and Nick over the last couple of days. Kicks, I would love to hear your thoughts on the markets. Take a look at some charts, figure out like what levels you're looking at. Maybe from a different perspective than we have had the past few days, because I'm curious your take on the overall markets right now.
Yeah, on a lot of equities as well as crypto, I'd say that things are very, very oversold on the weekly, and on the monthly, they look like they could still have more downside potential to them. So like I'm a big MACD guy, right? And so usually you see kind of like circular patterns, right? Like it goes into the red and then it'll curl back into the green, curl back into the red. So like I talked about this yesterday, like Bitcoin looks like maybe it could be like the last to pop, right? It looks like it wants to curl into the red. If it curled into the red, it'd be the first time it did it since the last bear market. Things like Ethereum on the monthly are already in the red. ETH has been in the red for a couple of months now, I want to say. At least 3 months now. and like Solana, I think has like 2 red wicks in there. Equities like Apple have 1 red wick on the monthly. So the monthly is showing that there could be more downside pressure. But then, like, for example, if you go to like, yes, you got Apple on the monthly, but then like look at Apple on the weekly. And you'll see that it's like way oversold into the red. I made money in that little gap fill there yesterday on the call side. Got out at 10:30 for whatever reason. 10:30 a.m. on stocks is either like the bottom or the top a lot of times. So got out there, but yeah. So point being, like, how you can apply that is if you're trying to do short term things. I think that you could see some like violent rallies to the upside. But since the monthly is still unwinding, I wouldn't be surprised for like us to see like things rally up and then puke back down. But like in terms of, is this now a good time to like start dollar cost averaging into things? I think it depends on the asset that you're buying. What kind of impact that asset could have with, the trade war. But I definitely do think that there's like here, like on Solana on the weekly, right? You see, you got those 2 light red candles there. Generally, like when you're seeing light red candles, it's trying to come back to life, right? So my point being is that like I wouldn't be surprised to see like Solana have like a nice like weekly move up over the next couple of weeks and go to like 150, right? But then with the monthly downward pressure, it could puke back down to 100, form like a nice double bottom, and then make some good.
Wow, you're calling for Solana 150 right now?
Well, if something's really oversold, it can rally up violently. I will call back to 2022 when everything was puking. ETH went down to 1,200. There was a beautiful MACD curl on the weekly. ETH went from 1,200 to 2,000, right? And then puked back down to 1,250. And then it kind of consolidated there and then moved up over time. So even in like downward pressure things, like there's people closing their shorts. There's all sorts of things that can make prices go up violently. Yeah, I'm talking specifically May, right? If you see back there, May, you see the curl in May, right? Of 2022, where it bottomed. Go back a little bit. Yeah, it bottomed down there, and then it rallied up to 2,000, right? And then it went back down and retested. So like I could see those things happening over like the next month or two. But if you're taking a long-term approach where you're trying to buy things and you want to hold them for a while, I do think now is a decent time to start dollar cost averaging in. It's really hard, if not possible, to time bottoms, but you definitely can say like, hey, things are priced in really bad right now, so I'm going to start dollar cost averaging. So like, let's say you wanted to dollar cost average into Solana, right? I think if you said, whatever I want to buy in Solana, I'm going to buy it over a 3-month period, once per week, right? You'll probably be happy with your decision, regardless of the outcome, right? If it goes down further, you're going to get your average cost down. If the bottom was in today, then, I mean, you would be getting some buys near the bottom and then buying on the way up. I do think with like the tariffs and like how everything has been priced in, I do think that while there could be more downside coming in terms of like tariff fears, I don't think it can get any worse than the US having 100% tariffs on China and China having 86% tariffs in the United States. Both of those are pretty much like incredibly destructive to the trade on both sides, meaning that like if you increase them another 100%, they're already incredibly destructive at this current level. So I don't think like the US coming and saying we're going to take it to 200% is going to generate any more fear than a fear level of 3, which is already, pretty close to max fear.
This is a transition from the old economic order to the new world order. And it's one that's potentially disastrous that'll cause a Great Depression.
Yeah, I mean, it could. There's also things like swaps. Swaps are showing signs of stress in the markets, right? A lot of people were talking yesterday about some sort of hedge fund, big one, maybe blowing up right now, like a Citadel kind of hedge fund. Apparently, those guys had multi-trillion-dollar carry basis trades, which I learned about yesterday. And a carry basis trade means they were long treasuries and they were short on swaps. And I think swaps may be like the insurance on the treasuries. So that carry trade is unwinding. So a lot of people were like, why is treasuries yield going up, right? That means people are selling treasuries, right? So a lot of these hedge funds may be unwinding that carry basis trade. That's above my pay grade. Point being is that there could be some blowups happening, some contagion happening. That could cause a blowout and a bottom. It could also cause the Fed to have to come and start doing some emergency stuff like cutting interest rates, buying assets, flipping to QE, those kinds of things.
Yeah, for context, the 10-year Treasury dropped as low as 4% local bottom as of like 2 weeks ago. Now we're at almost 4.4 on a very sharp rebound here. We were at 3.9. Oh my God. Apologies here.
Oh my God, what's happening there,
We're
Ray?
at sorry, a little ad block issue. I'm using a different profile because
Oh my God, classic Ray.
3.9 close on April 4th, and now we're all the way up. We jumped over 4.4 briefly on the 10-year Treasury yield.
I mean, we're just seeing a collapse here. We're seeing them sell bonds and sell stocks. Where is the flight to safety? Where does safety exist? Seems like the only place in the market right now is the good old US dollar.
And meme coins.
Yes. And meme coins. Yeah, but hopefully someone didn't blow up, but someone definitely could have blown up. You know, that happens in the game.
Remember when that one day when oil was negative?
Mm-hmm. In 2020, that was
Crude,
wild.
Texas.
Yeah, and people were like, should I buy some? And then they realized that like you
need
have
a
to
tanker
actually
truck?
receive. Yeah, you have to receive the oil. You
Is this
actually
when,
have
like,
to have.
we had COVID and like it froze in Texas. Is that what happened? Like, was it that double whammy? Because I remember there was like the ice storms in Texas where they just have no ability to like do anything.
Yeah, I think just the global economy collapsed. So like there
Yeah.
was like no demand for oil because no one was driving cars or.
Yeah, the ice storm was not part of it. It was literally, it was just no one wanted to buy oil. It was the short term. The price they were looking at was like the near dated futures contract, which meant like that day no one
you need
wanted
to receive it. Yeah, you need to like receive all of this oil this month. And I think there's like one pad in like Iowa or something that like you have to pick it up from. Like, see,
well, I think it's West Texas oil.
Maybe. Yeah, there's somewhere you had to go. Like, you had, not only do you need a tanker truck, but you like they don't deliver it to you. You have to go pick it up with the contract. But yeah, I mean it's definitely lots of fear out there. We'll see how the trade war resolves. It looks like China and the US are going to headbutt for a while, but may see some deals come in with some other countries.
We duking it out.
Specifically, it's been quiet on the north and south of our border on the Canadian and Mexican front. So there may be some things in work there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Speaking of flights to safety, I saw you talking about this one, Easy, yesterday. Nothing like a good old-fashioned Ponzi meme coin to get the people going in crypto land.
Shout out
What is
Bitcoin,
big?
the new Bitcoin.
What is big?
It's the new Bitcoin.
The new Bitcoin. Okay.
Bitcoin, but bigger.
Peer-to-peer big cash.
I like that.
It's a Ponzi. You
This is
buy
my first time
virtual
looking at
land,
records.
slap virtual miners on it, and you earn Bitcoin. I bought a bunch of this at like $1.40. I maxed out my thing yesterday. I was like very early, where at one point I was making like 3,000 Bitcoin a day. It's now been slashed all the way down to like 200 because it's gotten diluted. But yeah, I like the Ponzi. I'm a big Ponzi supporter. So if we can get some fun with that, full white paper, game seems to work. They were doing some weird liquidity stuff yesterday.
53.5 day halvening cycle.
Yep. So some pretty aggressive halvening. There's only like 3 or 4% on the market right now, token wise. So I don't know. I'm gonna just kind of let this play out and see what happens.
Interesting. And taking place on Abstract.
Yep.
3 million puts it among, if not the top token on Abstract right now. So
Really?
interesting to see. I think so. Almost positive. Like,
That's kind of a concern.
I was following some of those other ones like Chengdu and Yes, like from early days, but I don't know if anything's really taken hold. So I think like that's where all the meme coin action. I mean, Abster. I've never even heard of this. 8.7.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Abster.
Newt 11.8. Yeah, so maybe there are a couple that have.
Definitely better than Blast. That's for sure.
No, I mean Blast. Like Pac Moon went to like 500 mil at one point.
That was like the only one. I was in Baja Blast, Finger Blast. There was no.
Oh, yeah. I suppose that was like day one stuff that was like funny, but there were definitely some coins that went on Blast that definitely made some waves. There were definitely. It was definitely a more fertile meme coin market than Abstract is right now. But it's interesting to see a little bit of volume here with a couple tokens doing well. So Bitcoin, you think it's basically too late at this point? I know with these Ponzi's, it's basically early, people eat, and then like if you jump on late, you just exit liquidity. So 3.8 here, you think it's too late?
I don't know if it's too late, to be honest, because like my target is 10 mil on the coin. It just depends on like how much attention it continues to get. Is like obviously the big thing. Like,
And
will it have continued demand?
When you're doing the mining, are you locking up your tokens?
No, you can take them out anytime.
Okay. So there's no forced lockup. So
no, the one thing you can't upgrade your like base until I think it's 24 hours after your last upgrade. So like there's a gap, which I think is causing a lot of people to sell now. We saw it run to 3.6. I don't know. I like it. I think it's fun. It's just something new. And then the whole Abstract team seemingly has been supporting it. Saigar retweeted it. You have the Abstract page responding with a potato because they give you a potato miner for free. Yeah.
I've actually been seeing a lot of action. If you go and look at the Abstract page, it does seem like a fairly bullish ecosystem. We haven't seen it bleed over to the same degree as Blur. I feel like Blur was way more active. But I think it's also like the incentives were quite strong then. I think a lot of people, I feel like the token is the main issue that people like. Isn't that what's incentivizing all the activity on their platform right now?
Yeah, I mean, as with any like new L1, people farming the token for rewards is a big part of it. Like that was a lot of what was going on with Blast and Blast Gold. Like that was essentially farming token. That's why Blast was big.
I actually got hit up by a fellow Bodago, shout out Fastige, trying to do an M&A with me. He wants me to delegate my penguin to him, and he's going to farm it and then give me some of the airdrop back.
Yeah,
I'm not doing anything over there, despite liking penguin stuff.
Yeah, I came over and then I left when there was like an exploit on one of the dApps. I just didn't want to have exposure because I wasn't actively farming it. Yeah,
I'm just not a farmer. Like that's not like my cup of tea. Shout out to people that are good at it. But yeah, I mean, there seems to be games happening there. I mean, this big drop that Easy talked about, that's cool and exciting. They got stuff like on-chain heroes going on over there, and conversely to Blast, which was like in a very bullish environment. I think it's impressive that they're working so hard and keeping things going in an absolute catastrophic global meltdown.
Yeah, people are already. I mean, I think that's the one thing that like actually is kind of like relevant during these times is like people want to keep clicking buttons, and if you can click buttons for low cost basis and farm future rewards in a maybe more preferential market, that's attractive, I think. So I think that's like a good spot to be spending time if you're not deploying capital, is to be looking at emerging markets and how you can take advantage of them with little capital risk, essentially. I mean, NFTs on Abstract are holding up. On-chain heroes here, 0.3 ETH4, Gigaverse ROMs 0.07. I haven't heard of Bearish. Captain and Company, they were on Blast 0.082. They're just going to all the new chains.
Yeah, I think if nothing explodes short term, we may have like a decent couple of weeks here. I mean, the stock market is green, crypto's green, despite China slapping on 80% more tariffs. Once again, that fear and greed. My point being is like there's nothing else other than like getting into a war with each other. That could be more bearish than what we're seeing, right? Other than like U.S. carrier shoots missile and sinks Chinese ship. Other than that, there's nothing more bearish that can come down. Or Citadel explodes and needs $1 trillion bailout from Fed.
China
Those
invading Taiwan to me would be the big thing. The big thing that we're dealing with right now, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, yeah, you want the iPhone price to go down, but that I think the bigger thing is where are all the chips coming from? And you got Taiwan being the source of all of the AI chips at the moment. That's the main thing that I'm paying attention to here.
I don't think they're going to invade. I think they're taking a soft power approach. They've been actually flying in lots of influencers around the world into China to show how awesome China is. So I think they're trying to win.
China looks sick, man.
Yeah. I mean, think what would happen if we had actually manufactured everything ourselves in America. We'd have flying cars. We'd have mag trains. But we don't because we got sold out 25 years ago. But I don't know. Apple's up 1.3% on the day. Nick asked where the chip's going to come from. Thanks to good old Joe Biden, he created billions of dollars of incentives for companies like Taiwan to come build some chips over here in America. And if you work at a chip manufacturing company, you're doing pretty well. You're 3 times the average income in Taiwan.
Well, there we go.
I saw an interesting video of like people just, it's like a bring back manufacturing TikTok, just showing like AI'd US manufactured sweatshops essentially.
I think it's so funny. This is such a funny video. But this is not what we're actually talking about here. We're not talking about, although people do make clothing in America, and it's normally Mexican women that do it. One of my buddies makes clothing in LA. Is
your buddy a Mexican woman?
No, white male.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he loves his Mexican women. They make great stuff, hand stitching stuff together. But that's not the kind of jobs that we're talking about bringing over, right? More hard manufacturing, building cars, real manly stuff. And you can say none of us want these jobs, but go talk to someone like in a small town in North Carolina, right? That's fucking dead fucking broke. They probably want that fucking job. You know what I mean? They probably take that job.
I've been trying to find some pores to talk to, but they don't want to talk to me.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. If you're trying to get rich, Nick, just look how far Apple gapped down out of the Bollinger Bands. Maybe long that end a week. Hope it closes at 192.
I like that. I like daddy like.
This is fun for me. I know this may sound bad. The markets, when they're like this, are fun for me because of the volatility. It reminds me of COVID. I don't know if you guys remember in March and COVID.
We were both trading.
The way that the stocks were moving was insane. It was like, okay, today everything's up 7%. And then tomorrow, like literally the next day, everything's down 10%. 2 circuit breakers. Then the next day, everything's up 12%. Then down, then up and down. And if you time the bottom with some long dated call options on any tech stock in 2020, you could make insane amount of money. Like Wayfair, you could have put 5K on call options on Wayfair to expire out of the money a year out. You would have made like $100 grand.
Pretty wild.
So how do we figure out how to do that now? What are we looking at? Like what metrics are we looking at? Where do we find any sort of bottom? What are we looking at to say things are turning around in a way that we can start feeling confident about making those sorts of plays?
Well, hold on real quick. There's two. The biggest money was made on the way down. And then the long-term money was made on the way up. So just go buy companies that you think are going to do well. The real question is, I got Mike Stickler. Who?
It's been there for a while. Yesterday's complaints about my microphone.
Well, they were right.
Yeah, I mean, like even if you guys remember in 2022, when we were in the bear market, there was violent rallies to the upside. I literally remember it was in fucking July or August, right? And like tech stocks went insane. And I was in call options on like Shopify and like all these other, I thought it was the bottom, right? And my stock portfolio went up by like 100%. And then the true bottom was October. And I got fucking eviscerated and I got all pissed off. And that was the true bottom, right? Point being is that even if something is going down over a 6-month period, it's not straight down. It's never straight down, right? It's moves up, then moves down, moves up and moves down. Like you look at stuff like just on the weekly, all of these stocks like Amazon, Apple, a lot of these tech stocks are absolutely eviscerated, where what you could likely see is just a little bit of bullish news catalyst. These things rally back up 10, 15, 20%, and then puke back down. So who knows how long this takes, to play out. So like if you want to take a conservative approach, dollar cost average in over a period of time, say over the next 4 months or the next 3 months, the next 6 months, I have 100 grand. These are the things that I want to buy, right? And then buy them. And like everyone forgets, like, how bad the things feel when you're at the bottom. Like Easy was there when Solana went to $10, right? Things feel bad right now. Solana, he's up 10x on that purchase, right? Despite everything feeling miserable right now.
Wish I sold
right?
it at 29x.
Beautiful. So buying that, like buying when it hurts, like it feels like it's like the worst time to buy, right? So like a lot of people right now, if you're having fun with meme coins, go have fun with meme coins. If you have cash on hand, which I do, because I sold a lot of stuff earlier this year, now what you need to do is you need to come up with your strategy with the cash. It's way easier to sell things than determine when to get back into the market, right? That's the hardest thing. So I think the most conservative approach, pick the things you really like and come up with a dollar cost average in strategy, right? If you're trying to be more aggressive in short term, you can definitely play some rips and dips on these things. But the biggest thing is what Nick said, which is like find the stocks that you really love and get it like or crypto.
I want to buy as much Robinhood stock as I possibly can.
Yeah, so like let's pull up a Robinhood chart.
That's like the one thing. I want to be so uncomfortably overexposed to Robinhood.
Yeah, so I mean Robinhood's chart actually looks phenomenal because it's on the weekly, it drew down and it hit like the perfect time to buy would have been right at the bottom of the Bollinger Band range at 29. You're up 15% from there. But the weeklies rolled over really nicely there. If you're looking at the historical chart, you're getting in at relatively probably a good price. The only issue is on the monthly. It's not oversold. Like it could drop down to 24 or something like that. That's why dollar cost averaging is the safest approach. But
yeah, I mean, Robinhood's interesting too because I think Robinhood's predicated on people wanting to invest in risk-on assets, right? So, like, I guess maybe that's like almost like a leverage bet on the market as well. Goes up with the overall market and then goes up because the overall market is getting more volume. But I mean, right now, I mean, we're seeing some of the largest volume days in terms of equities trading. Like we set ETF and options records over the last couple of days. But I don't know how much of that volume is taking place on Robinhood, if that's more institutional capital versus retail capital.
Yeah, and like definitely in like times of uncertainty, you don't want to, and that's why dollar cost averaging is smart, or just like buying in different tranches and having capital on the side still ready to deploy is like, for example, like something like Tesla. Like you could say that Tesla has a lot of positive catalysts, which with how the world trade is going to be reshaped, right? But the monthly looks potentially nasty, right? So you may say, hey, I got 25 grand I want to put into Tesla. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 10 grand today, but I also know that it could go to 160. So it could go down another 30% from here. And if it goes down another 30% from here, I'm going to put in another 15K or whatever. But on the weekly, you can see like it looks like it wants to curl, right? That's why you can see these things. Tesla's price in October could be $160, but it could go from 230 to 300, down to 200 to 230, right? Down like that. Everything moves in waves. But yeah, I mean, if you're 100% max invested in the market, this sucks. But you know, we also had signs in earlier this year to raise cash. And so I think a lot of smart people raise cash. I said on this call, I think a month ago, I said, I basically went 50% cash, if not over 50% cash. And my thesis was if the stock market or if everything pumps, I'm going to be mildly upset because I'm 50% cash. And if everything dumps, I'm going to be mildly upset because I still have 50% invested in the market, right? And that stuff's going to go down. And that's what ended up happening. So now I'm probably more like 60% cash or 65% because the other stuff got whacked. But now at least I have cash to get some things at some better prices. So if you have cash on the side, it's a tricky situation. Once again, it's way easier, in my opinion, to sell than it is to figure out when the time to buy is. But if we look at other things when they got really bad, like let's look at 2022, right? When were the signs to buy? FTX imploding, right? Was that the bottom signal in 2022?
It actually went lower like a month after.
Yeah. So what? June? It was June, July.
Is that when it exploded? I thought it exploded later.
It exploded in November. The bottom of Sol was December 29th.
So it was the bottom of Bitcoin then.
I'm talking Salamos.
All right.
But easy. If you still bought in November, you're still happy.
FTX collapse was $12. So it went down another 50%, but like the upside was still, yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of catalyst, maybe something absolutely imploding is a good bottom signal, right? In crypto, maybe a stable coin depegging, right? Or some sort of exchange blowing up.
I'm out of my Sol position now.
Something's. I feel like we are due for something like that in crypto to happen. We did have the that huge hack, that 9-figure hack, which is pretty wild, and that's going to be absorbed.
Yeah, and Tron's stablecoin was found to be insolvent. That kind of just got swept under the rug a little bit.
That wasn't actually what happened. Justin Sun said it was insolvent, and now he's getting sued for defamation because they weren't insolvent.
Okay, well that's different.
Yeah, it seems like he was just being a fibber.
Yeah, he was flooding FDUSD, and he also had to like backstop Tron USD.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised to see like if there's TradFi stuff blowing up that like a stable coin gets temporarily depegged or something like that. Could that be a bottom signal? Could some bank blowing up in the United States be a bottom signal? I don't feel, and maybe this is just me getting older, I don't feel absolutely sick to my stomach right now, which makes me lead to believe that there's probably something that happens in the next 3 or 4 months.
There's more pain.
Yeah, that there could be more pain. Ahead.
Did Nick just transform? I'm trying to set something up on another monitor, and then Nick is
now PO. They swapped out. They high five, man. It's they're the Hardy Boys. You ever watch the Hardy Boys in WWE back when we were kids?
For my favorite wrestlers, I was 10.
Yeah, they're the best, dude.
It's funny because he did the PO impression earlier, and now he is PO. Yeah.
What's the impression?
I was like, I said, I wonder how PO's putting in buying put strategy is working in a down market. I was like absolutely curious, and he just did a PO impression where he's like, buy more Bitcoin, buy more MicroStrategies, buy more Tesla. Everything's going up forever.
Yeah. So when things are gonna go down 15% like fucking 3 times like it has, it makes the put strategy tough. So where I'm at with it is I have like 55 grand just tied up because like, like basically we got to get some kind of rebound. Like, there's got to be some kind of fucking rebound. Otherwise, this money's just wicked tied up, and I can roll it, but I was like, I don't even want to roll it because like at this point I'd actually rather just take the shares, but of course so much liquidity on these because it's on Tesla and then a small one on Robinhood. I'm not going to trade options on Robinhood again because the juice isn't worth the squeeze with the premiums. I'm actually just going to, you guys are going to laugh, I'm just going to stick to MicroStrategy. I'm trying to actually get out of the Tesla put, but I did the math this morning because I was like, good God, this Tesla put is so underwater. I mean, holy shit. And to roll the thing, I mean, dude, the options market is basically like we got you by the nuts if you sold a put option before this debacle.
Because the premiums are so high.
Yeah. And so anyway, I made $5,100 on this Tesla option. So it's like boo-hoo. Like this was a very strong trade. And basically now the capital's just tied up. So either I take on the shares, I roll it out, or if Tesla rebounds, then I'm just scot-free. If it rebounds at all, like this is such an extreme situation right now. But anyway,
when's your expiry on them?
Right on the Tesla, it's 425, so it's actually pretty soon. But
you could see like a big violent rally in the next couple of weeks, and you could get out pretty easily on them.
Yeah, no, I mean, so basically where I'm at, if anybody like is interested, is my grand accomplishment of 2025 right now is just how many MicroStrategy shares that I've added. So right now I'm at an all-time high for myself for MicroStrategy shares. The other thing is that I moved my IRA in a Robinhood because I like Robinhood's user interface, and they also give you like a 3% match. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bet on Robinhood. They give you a match on your IRA.
Right before you came on, I said I want to buy as much Robinhood as I could.
So the thing is I actually don't agree with that because I have some and I've been watching it. What's so funny, kids?
I just see you're bullish Robinhood. And Easy said I want to buy a shit ton of Robinhood, and you're like, I don't agree with that.
Well, no, I don't want to buy any of this shit.
I meant as a user, I really love it, but I don't know if the market is going to love it. But the nice thing is it's a traditional finance organization, but with a way better UI and with tech company margins. So you kind of get the tech company experience with finance, like this 401 or IRA match. So they're just like giving you money left and right. And anyway, they're
going to generate so much money, Pia. Like their earnings every quarter are going to be absurd. They cover every single financial instrument, including gambling now. Like,
yeah, that's
wild. I think
wild.
this is the biggest no-brainer buy for a 10x in 5 years.
And their prediction market's not gambling easy. But the other cool thing is that Robinhood and Larry Fink at BlackRock have both been talking about getting regular investors access to private markets, which I think could be a huge explosion for Robinhood. And just exciting for Americans in general, like being able, for example, Cursor, which is this AI tool to program. I've been using it since like September of last year and was massively bullish on it. They did a round in November at 2.5 billion. They just did another round in March at 10 billion. So that's a 4x in 4 months that I had no ability to access whatsoever. And it would have been absolutely phenomenal to have been able to buy some shares at 2.5 billion off of some guy, some early investor that wanted some liquidity, right? And been able to actually trade that market and get exposure. Because for the most part, like the challenge right now with like public equities, right, is that they stay private for so long until they come out public and they're at such a high valuation. And some still work, like Robinhood, right, is doing good. Shopify, but Shopify came out in 2016. I'd say over the last 4 or 5 years, things come out so inflated when they finally hit the public markets and everyone else can access it. It'd be awesome to be able to get into these things that we're all excited about early.
Yeah, I think that'll price stuff in. I mean, that's interesting, sure, but I still think that the VCs and stuff will have like a really significant advantage. I think it'll be kind of good for normal people, but
you can still get wrecked for sure. I mean, you have to pick good things.
Yeah.
Well-
BTC Blizzy brought up the Robinhood credit card. I want the Robinhood credit card bad. It's 3% cash back on everything. And then you can book travel with it and you get 5% back if you book it through their travel portal. So Robinhood has a travel portal. It's like, wait,
So
what?
they have a travel portal.
Sapphire.
Every single financial asset under the fucking sun and gambling. And you're not bullish on the shares?
It's because I compare everything to MicroStrategy, and obviously it's not going to outperform MicroStrategy.
Oh
I don't know why it's so
fucking God,
funny, dude. Like, so, and plus, you just the covered call strategy with MicroStrategy.
It's just like talking to an autistic person, but you're not.
Maybe I am. Real quick.
You know, you like ask them a question and they're like, "Oh, that's cool, but I really like trains, and I want to tell you about my trains." Like,
well, that sounds great, but I really want to go watch airplanes take off.
yeah, exactly. Like,
I'm just like really focused on this thing, and so, I saw Got Bounce was like, all I'm hearing is that PO is fucked. If you're hearing that, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I can roll this Tesla put right now and actually make money doing it, but I want to get out of the put because I want to switch to MicroStrategy because the premiums are better. So I want to be doing puts on MicroStrategy. And on Tuesday of next week, I'm having a guest of fucking honor on my podcast. I'm gonna ask
Rom?
No, Rom's the man, but this is a true guest of honor.
Warren Buffett.
No, it's not fucking Warren Buffett, dude. Ray, I'm gonna ask him very politely. I'm gonna ask him if he wants to host it because it's at 8 p.m. because that's what time this guy can do it. Oh, Ray begrudgingly gives a thumbs up. You can say
I've
no.
already planned. It's been in the calendar. I've already planned for it.
Arthur Hayes.
You're the man. That would be cool. I like Arthur Hayes a lot, but it's this guy Hermes Lux who only has 6,000 Twitter followers, but he's the guy for MicroStrategy options trading. This is the fucking guy. And so I'm really pumped to have him on the show. That's going to be
looks German.
Is this the bag company? The Hermes.
He's not the heir to Hermes. Hermes, no. He's just no. Type in Hermes Lux, Lux. No, that is not him.
He looks Scandinavian. A lot of testosterone.
Real quick, easy. If Robinhood adopts a Bitcoin treasury strategy, I'm all in. I'm all in on it.
I hope they
No,
don't.
that's what companies do when they have nothing else to do. When they have
I
a
hope they
shit
don't.
company.
False. Actually, false. Because Fong Li, the CEO.
Oh my god.
So this is actually some smart shit.
Overdraft strategy, dude.
Overdraft strategy to buy MicroStrategies in Bitcoin. I cannot wait for this podcast.
Well, I'm not going to actually talk to him about this because I don't want to talk to our audience about the 0% interest card strategy because I worry about people getting wrecked. I just want to stick to options. But
people are dumbasses, dude. Like, I'm a dumbass. You give me 0% and I'm fucking swinging.
This guy is not a dumbass, and this guy is Michael Sailoring his own life and just absolutely dominating. It's super, super dope to see. But real quick on what Kix just said, Fong Li just did a presentation. Fong Li's the CEO of MicroStrategy. He just did a presentation at MIT.
Sorry.
He's coughs right into the mic.
I was muted.
He did a presentation at MIT about which companies should buy Bitcoin, and it's not just zombie companies. It's high cash, high growth companies and high cash, low growth companies. Anybody in a high cash scenario should buy Bitcoin, so or should adopt a Bitcoin treasury strategy. Anyway, I'll stop.
No, that's good. I'm excited for this. This guy seems like he is all in. I knew somebody who maxed credit cards and had so much conviction for much less. This was the Clone X mint, where you could mint on credit card. That ended up working out very well for that person.
That's crazy. Real quick, Miguel Ribeiro said, what do you have to say? I'm just answering these questions because people are throwing questions out there. I just figure why not? People are going to throw questions out. We'll answer them. Miguel said, what do you have to say about, he said, Sailor saying MicroStrategy might have to sell Bitcoin. Sailor didn't say that. They like lawyers wrote it into an SEC filing, and lawyers just throw the absolute kitchen sink into those things. So that's just like actually a bullish cover your ass type thing for MicroStrategy. And then the other question, I just saw it right here. Ben Wong said, is GameStop high cash too? Yeah, GameStop
high cash, low growth. Yeah,
high cash, low growth, because they did the ATM strategy, which is a Sailor strategy when the stock pumped so high and just had billions of cash and didn't know what to do with it. So, yeah.
So this morning, China, 80% retaliatory tariffs. tariffs, whatever you want to call them. Looking at the stock market, Dow Jones up 0.5%, S&P up 0.8, NASDAQ up 1.5, even the Russell 2K in the green, VIX down 5%.
As I haven't been on this show, I don't know if you guys know how I spend my time, but I just literally throw on finance podcasts when I'm just doing shit. When I'm walking Sapphire, it's 10 p.m. and I'm laying on my floor here with my neck roller thing so that I can make my neck really nice. I just listen to finance podcasts. The people that I'm listening to that I think are smart, and I talked about this in a video. So look, here's the deal. Here's a simple way to think about it. A bottom will be somewhere. I don't know if it's here. We could go down another 15%. Who the hell knows? A bottom will happen, and then we will have a V-shaped recovery the way that we always did and do. And every country in the world, including the United States, pretty much is going to use it as an excuse to print money. Not COVID level printing, because that's where everybody's brain goes immediately. And they're like, oh, they're going to send you a check. No, they're not going to send you a check. But every single company is going to print money. Global liquidity will realistically hit an all-time high. If you look at like the global M2 chart, that's really the one to look at. And the Fed will cut rates without question. Look at the poly market odds on the rate cuts. And that's just ultimately going to be really great for Bitcoin. If you're like a huge stock market guy, I think you're going to have to wait longer for a recovery than if you're a gold or a Bitcoin guy. And then thus a crypto guy, because if Bitcoin goes up, the rest of crypto will go up in some way. It doesn't mean your random altcoin is going to go up. We've seen that Solana seems to want to go up every single time Bitcoin goes up, but Ethereum doesn't want to go up when Bitcoin goes up at all. I mean, holy shit. And Memecoins seem to be the area
on fire, dude. I called a 35x yesterday.
Can we air these dirty laundry kicks? I'm so mad.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
So Kicks has been working on a Team Trades app. We have it live testing in the Bodogas Discord. And he shared a ticker. Basically what his app does is it allows you to trade as a group. So you deposit money into the fund, and then you vote on trades, yes or no, and it executes the trade. So you're kind of trading together. Kick shares pre's at like 60K yesterday, pings everybody, and we buy it. I look away. I wake up this morning. I see it at 900K, and I get ready to go into the Discord to celebrate. I go back. I look. It says failed buy operation. Did not buy.
So it went to 2.5 million.
Oh, God, it was even worse.
At the top. Yeah, no, this was like a half sold buy. Everybody in the Discord would have like tripled their money, dude. Tripled their investment. Like it was an absolute cook. But we figured out the bug. The bug is that there was some piece of code that was overwriting the fucking priority fees. So like everything was being sent with low priority fees, but we fixed it. But
I have a question for the Memecoin boys. So like I pay attention to the broad Memecoin space. I don't pay attention to like daily runners. But from me paying attention, so is Fartcoin the Memecoin?
We had
it's
about it yesterday.
Yeah, for like a super expensive meme coin, it's definitely like doing the best. But it's like I would say, I mean, that pattern looks pretty cool. It looks like a breakout pattern. It really like the small stuff has been phenomenal. Like it's been really cool just to see things like
you've had multiple coins run to like 30, 40, 50, 60 mil the last.
Yeah, like look at this one.
You had Retard Finder coin. This was one that so this page Elon Musk
50 to 78 during the show.
What'd you say?
This went from 50 to 78 during the show.
Yeah. So this coin, for context, let me actually see where I bought this. I paper handed the shit out of this, by the way. It's at 81.5 right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought this at a 750K market cap. I put 50 SOL into it at that point.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I owned 4% of the supply.
You'd be rich, dude.
I'd be filthy fucking rich.
Wait, how much
sold it?
How much would you like?
I netted 170 SOL.
Okay.
Oh, I feel bad for you.
I sold it at I did pretty fucking good on the coin. It's all the first day. This thing ended up chopping up and down, and then since it's just been up only. Like this, and the thing is, like these meme coins. Me and Clemente bought one that's like based on this Minecraft movie that's gaining a ton of traction right now called Chicken Jockey.
Chicken Jockey, great pick.
Yep. And it's purely like the meme coin trenches right now are actual just bets on virality. Like, do you think something will be more viral today than it was yesterday? Yes or no?
Traditional.
Or do you think in the next coming days will it be more viral? Is it viral right now on TikTok versus Instagram and Twitter? Yes or no? Like you can basically just ask yourself these questions.
Look at that spike, dude.
And if you start saying yes, like Chicken Jockey was gaining a ton of steam on TikTok, wasn't big on Instagram or Twitter yet.
Yeah.
Last few days, it blew up on a bunch of stuff.
I agree. Like if anything easy, it feels like easier to pick like winners.
More organic. Their memes are going viral. That's what's supposed to happen. We're not getting the fucking country of Cuba launching a 5K market cap shitter.
Forget about that. You're just not getting like the yo MLG. MLG is going to pump. It's like, well, what does MLG mean? Like, what is the significance of this coin? Why would this pump to like $800 million? Chill.
Because FaZe says it's the easiest thing for him to shill to anybody who's trying to get into crypto.
It's all the way back to 3 million classic. I love like praise. You know what I mean? Because there's a picture of Z with like a lollipop, and it's just funny. You're like, dude, praise at 60K. Can you praise take the tariffs back down?
I love that. Every time things are going horrible, they just put fat JD Vance in front of like the red charts, and they're like, "Did you even say please?" It's just so fucking funny.
Like praise looks like it's coiling. Hey, can you please, Donard, please respond.
That's wicked fucking fun,
right?
I've not seen that.
This is much funnier if we would have owned it at 60K.
People in the audience seem to think that Ray has a bias against Fartcoin.
We talked about it on the show yesterday pretty at length, and because 2 days ago I said I'm waiting for like a big move from Fartcoin to basically like break out and then miss out on some of the upside, but I just don't have faith that this is going to like reach these levels again. I would need to see it have one of these massive like 40% jumps, this like multiple $100 million market cap jump in a single day to have faith it's going to get back and test those old levels. I think something new could come out and would do what Fartcoin did before.
This is why Fartcoin is tough for Ray. Okay. It's like you hook up with this chick senior year of high school. Okay. She still has like braces and like she hasn't fully figured out herself, but she's kind of cute. Right. And you check back in on her when she's like 24 and she's a fucking babe. And you're like, dude, if I had invested in that senior year of high school, it'd been a big difference. Ray bought this at 5 million.
No, I think it was like 1 million.
1 million. So it's up 500. So it's up 500x. So this is the chick. The chick took her braces off, got contacts, started figuring out how to dress, got a little bit more of a personality, and Ray's jealous.
Hit college right here, graduated, started working, got married, had a kid.
Late 20s is tough for women.
Had a second kid, got divorced, and now you're telling me to buy.
Getting divorced.
Is she gonna get plastic surgery now?
She did, dude. The Pico bottom, she got divorced and started doing Pilates 5 times a week, dude. That's what I thought.
We got slumped, dude. Real quick before I'm gonna jump after this, but slumped is over here. He's got a dangly earring and he's got dyed blonde hair. You know, he's like a real Gen Z kid. He's 22. He's like completely wrong on the MLG take. MLG has so much significance in the gaming scene. My response to you, slumped. I'm just gonna match your energy. Chill, bro. You're doing too much. Chill. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, King Ball just needs kicks to run the charts like that.
No, honestly, my joke was good, but Ray's joke was 10x better. The had a second kid, got a job as the chart's going red, but then gets divorced. Starts pumping again.
Yeah, and now you want me to buy it now. I think that's something new. I think there's something new. I think there's somebody who's still going into college. It's going to happen here.
Yeah, like praise.
Praise.
All right, well, I'm going to jump. All the Gen Z MLG fans like slumped. Go hit your vapes and get collapsed lungs. And you know, I'll be chilling with my MicroStrategy shares while you're in the hospital. All right, see you guys later.
Yeah, absolutely. He's out and he's gone. The meme itself does have significance. Anything else we want to discuss before we wrap here, Kicks? Or are you pretty much good to go now?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. I'll let you all know if I make any trades over the next 24 hours. But I'm still sitting in cash. You know what I mean? But I do think the fear and greed at 3% is significant. And I don't think it's I think it's likely that we see a short-term violent snap up on some things. It just needs like one or two catalysts, and it needs Citadel not absolutely imploding. But like, it's Wednesday. I would not be surprised to see like something come out Thursday or Friday, very positive about the trade war. Maybe the snow Mexicans, you know, come down from Canada and make a big deal. Is that racist to say? I thought it was a funny joke. I didn't know that was bad to say. I heard a lot of people say that. Okay, I apologize if that's not something you're allowed to say.
I've never heard that. I'm just surprised. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's a new one for me. I think it just
maybe
caught me off guard.
Friday. Maybe Friday we get a rally into the weekend, and then Monday.
Or kicks, hear me out.
Yeah, okay.
Citadel blows up. Multiple banks collapse.
Okay.
The U.S. financial system completely implodes. Fear and greed goes negative.
Okay. Then buy.
And then we buy.
Okay. I mean, I like that one better. That's a good long-term buy there.
Yeah, I think that's the play. I think that's the play.
Couldn't figure out. I apologize for the notifications coming throughout the show today. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Then I realized I was
Good amateur hour by this guy,
which doesn't have the notifications paused. So apologies to the audience. I was sitting here frantically looking throughout the show, trying to figure out what was going on. But that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you for joining us. We do the show every weekday, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple. Watch us back on YouTube. See what we're talking about in real time as Kix explains charts like they are females. Thank you all.
And if your wife or girlfriend is very mad over the next couple of days, it may be because her Temu purchases are now 100% more expensive.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Consider that.